Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick little tutorial over here, how to get your aim settings right. First of all, you're going to need the GPC, just start that up, start up the aim engine, and once we get this going, then I'll go ahead through every setting, how to get through it, what to adjust, how to adjust it. As you can tell, I have absolutely nothing adjusted, that's just creative. We can go ahead and start brand new, so let's just, delete this. Okay, new default file. Okay, so we're just gonna put in our ID, you get your shit, and then we go on from there. Alright, so I'll kind of go ahead and explain everything over here, what each setting means in general. Tensor, you need an NVIDIA GPU for this, so once you check it off, it'll just come up like this. Pixel, this is technically just on top of the head, there's like a pixel, that's what it detects, usually used for anybody that doesn't have NVIDIA GPU, or you can use it together, but it works really well in Black Ops. Auto aim, you need that on if you want it to aim for you. Auto fire, self-explanatory, fires for you. And creative is just a different tab that we'll, kind of get into later on. Okay, we can go on from there. What we can do is we can enable tensor. We'll start off with that, okay? For tensor weights, I generally like to use a 1-to-1 ratio, and I like to keep it right around this kind of search target area, so it doesn't get anything false or anything like that. Confidence, it all depends on what you run. Right now, I think for Black Ops 6, the best ones are going to be COD 6 BO6 Beta for Sun's free weights. I'm running them at about 40%. It's not too bad, works pretty well. You can adjust this depending if you get false or not. I have it at about 35. I kind of leave this normal, but I'll kind of explain what this right here means. Confidence. What you're going to do is you're going to decrease it if you're missing targets. Like if your screen isn't picking something up, and you're going to increase it when you're picking up like bushes or walls and stuff like that, something you don't want picked up. So if it's doing any of that, you're going to increase it. Pixel, it's about the same. You can go to a 1-to-1 custom ratio or whatever. Just make sure you enable it, and that'll come up over here as well. But we don't really use that if you're going to be using these weights for Black Ops 6, so we'll go through that a little bit later. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn that off. Okay, tensor, you're going to go to weight manager. Once you're in weight manager, just click check just to make an environment check, just make sure everything is good here. If you're on 8.3, you really don't need to upgrade or update Ultralytics, but it's up to you, it doesn't really fucking matter. And then per weights there's different types, and if you ever want to get certain weights and there's a price, you have to message the creator itself. I think the only one selling right now is Sun. Everybody else is free, or it's $1 or $1. There's that. And yeah, right there, as you saw over here, this build right here, this is to build your own custom weights. You could use that, it's already built in as well. Next, we'll head over to kind of focus. Focus, I usually generally just leave it as per. Speed is how fast it focuses in on the target. Margin is how much outside that target is okay for it to zoom into. So I usually leave it at 4, 5. 10 is good. This doesn't really need to go that much excessive. It is what it is. And then we'll kind of get to the main part of it. So we'll come here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just to get our pixel right, I'll go ahead through that first. We're going to go in game, and then when you go over to interface, you're going to go to readability, color customization, and you're going to want to make the teammate the same as your enemy. So we'll come here, we'll make it the same. You're just going to go into find a match. You're going to go to private match, create one. And while this is loading, I'll kind of go ahead and explain these for you. So RS max radius, this is how fast it snaps onto your enemy. If it's too slow to snap, you're going to want to increase it. If it snaps past them, you're going to want to decrease it. So that's pretty obvious. Manual override, this one's kind of easy as well. Basically, the lower it is, the less manual input you'll have. The more or the higher it is, the more manual input you have, which kind of means like how much control you have over it. If you decrease it, you'll have 13% control. If you increase it, you'll have 80% control. As to where the other gray part is what the aim engine controls. Next, activate button, kind of fucking self-explanatory which button you want it to start activating to start aiming. LT, L2 is usually the basic aim down sight. That's the button a lot of people use, but some games don't have that. They're third person or yeah, you're gonna need it to just do it on whatever the fuck you please. Aim speed. This one is kind of like how fast you need it to snap, but these bottom values are all set. There's no really wrong value except for one value, but I'll kind of go ahead and explain how to kind of do that one later on. And then right stick dead zone. This is going to match your right stick in here. So you're just going to go to controller. You're going to go into dead zone inputs, and then your right stick minimum. If this is 4, you're going to want to bring this down to 4. If it's 10, you're going to bring it to 10. And latency, we'll kind of get through that right now. So we're going to go back in the game. We're going to go ahead and add teammate bots. You can go ahead and add about 5. 5 is fine. You're going to click confirm. Actually, we're also going to do other stuff. So let's go ahead and add 12 as well. So you're going to add 12 bots. You're going to go into game setup. You're going to go into map, skyline, and then also just go in here and just make it 45 minutes, just so that way it doesn't just kick you out. Go ahead and start the match. Once we get in, we're going to go ahead and go over how to get your pixel detection. We're going to, as you can see, I have absolutely nothing built. I'll go ahead and show you guys how I'm going about doing that. You can just turn everything off so it doesn't bug you, and then we can go back to detect, and then we'll go from there. So what I like to do is, as you can see, I picked this map because there's a lot of dark spots, there's sunny spots, there's everything. So it's kind of nice to use that. As you can see, they'll all run. What you want to do is, as soon as they run, you just want to grab a quick build new. Once you grab build new, you've got this big file of all these guys right here. Okay. What you can do is, look, as you select it, some are perfectly blended in, right? It's great. But this shit kind of fucks it up right here. It means it's picking up a little bit of black, right? So what you're going to do is you're just going to undo, you're going to increase the likeness, and then you're just going to select it until you get something that doesn't get all that. Okay? That's what I like to do. That's what's worked for me. If it's a little bit like this, that is what it is. Just go around, select them all like this. Okay. Now what we can do is we're going to go in game. You don't need to save it right now. You're just going to come here. This is the first part you're going to come to. You're going to wait for someone to just walk by here, or you can kind of just look at them. But that's kind of like the shade that we've already had. So we can go into the middle of the map. Let's go to the pool. Okay, as you can see over here, it's a lot brighter. Number one rule is you're not going to get pixels that are behind walls. That's never going to work. As you can see, he's coming. We can just pull this up, and we can just go ahead and press a new frame right here. So we've got this dude right here by the pool. Let's go ahead and get this guy. So that's perfect. Okay, let's jump down. Let's see if we can get someone in a bit of a shady spot. This is a pretty famous spot people come to. We're just gonna come here and wait for something to walk by. As soon as you see people walk by, just zoom out, zoom into it. You're just gonna grab those. Cool. Next, what we're gonna do is let's do some. This guy's right here, so that's perfect. In the sunlight, wow, there's a lot of light. Just gonna go around, basically grabbing a bunch of frames, and then you're solid. And the last one that I really like to get is coming down here. Once you open it, people are gonna start coming. They're gonna start. Once they do, you're just gonna grab it. We got someone coming right now. We're gonna click new frame. He's walking by. This is a little bit of a darker area. It picks up. We're solid. You don't need to click up down. I still do it one time. You can go solid and circle. We've set on that. What I found is 5 to 9 is the best one. Over here, you're just gonna write enemy. Okay, so that's that. That's what I like to do. We've got it saved, and to test it out, what we can do is just go to pixel. We're gonna begin it and just make it ultra wide. Okay, You're gonna see it picks up through the walls, and it's very, very accurate. So we do have our confidence at 70. You can lower it. You can keep lowering it. And you see, like, it's not picking up anything else right now. Anything else in the room, it's not picking up. It's just getting those. So now that's what we're going to use. Okay? You're going to head back to the main spot. Now we're going to start doing our kind of like aim settings. Okay, so as you can see, like, look, literally not picking up a speck of anything else anywhere. So we're just going to come bring this down because we don't want it to follow everybody. We want it to just follow one. What you can go ahead and do is first take a look at your aim settings. So go to controller, gonna go aim. Okay, you know what? I'm sitting at 10. So that right away means automatically I'm probably going to use aim speed or about 5 or 6, 4 to 6, anything like that. Half it and +1 -1. Usually that's what I go by. And then just go to advanced aim settings and you can go from here. A lot of people like linear, a lot of people like dynamic. I think the best one that's worked for me is dynamic. You could go ahead and use that. But you can test it out for different ways, whatever works best. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and aim. So we're just going to press L2. It's going to, oh, we did not click auto aim. That's why it's not aiming. And remember, auto aim should always be clicked. So that way it aims for you. Go back to control. You're going to hold it in. You can see it's already following very well, but there's a bit of a shake, you know, it picks up, picks off, this and that. That means you just need to bring this down a bit so the detect doesn't lose. So, well, let's do someone nearby. It just snaps right away. So maybe we didn't even have to do anything. So, not bad, but we can kind of go ahead and edit. So what we're going to do is manual override. I like to just leave it at 25. We can go ahead and radius is already set. It's shaking a bit, it's solid. You can just adjust this. So as you can see the default settings already are doing very well, right? So if anyone's snapping there, look, it's already there. It's following. It's a little bit slow behind it, but we can adjust that. As you can see he's running away. It's a little slow, but it snaps. For that, we can go ahead and increase this to see that it stays and follows. So right here, it's a little faster at tracking it. But this is the guy that's literally just running around. So the chances of someone doing that while you're also shooting, it's not going to happen. Okay, that's how you do those settings. Next, what we're going to do is fire. This is pretty simple. When you fire, this is for your auto fire right here. How fast you want it to fire. 20 seconds is okay. Usually around 60 to 70 is what I use for snipers. 20 is what I use for regular. So you could just go ahead and do that. Now remember, we don't use, this is for enemy, okay? If you ever wanted tensor, if you're using any of Sun's weights, usually in Call of Duty, these ones already have the ignore built in. So you just have to use the normal color customization. So when you come here, just reset to default. And remember, color customization over here, I tend to use this one. It's a lot easier. That whole FF00FF bullshit was very old. It's not really needed anymore. So that's that. Next thing we can go ahead and kind of look at is the creative. So creative is where you can kind of make your own, you know, Python scripts. I'll go ahead and kind of show you the ones that I have personally made. A lot of these here are the ones I've made. Some here are the ones Josh has made, and that's about it. But if you did go into creative right here, you can see that Puma has also made a solid one. You know, he's coming out with a lot of updates. He's doing very well. If you wanted something like what we used to have, Sketchy has created something that's very like what we used to have, where it picks up the name. You can adjust the positions, a lot of it, and this is free for now, so go utilize it. And then there's also mine, where I have a bunch of different mods over here, different games. They all, most of them work. I'm still working on Super Glide. Farm mod is going to be updated, and adjustable recoil works right now, but I'm just working on a GUI for the whole thing, so we'll kind of be similar to this, and it'll be up and at it. So that's majority of how you kind of run the whole script. Now let's say you wanted to run one of these. So strafe, you're going to plug it in, and the way I have it is if I'm holding aim down sight and I start shooting, it's going to start strafing. But remember, you need to check off creative, otherwise your creative scripts are not going to work. Hold it down and it starts strafing left and right. Okay, there's other stuff as well. Let's kind of unload that one, and here we are. Let's just say drop shot. So say you're running around, and this is drop shot on hip fire. So you see someone, you start shooting, it's going to do that. You can combo this even better. So you can combo this with auto ADS, which means say you're running around and someone pulls up and you're going to start shooting, it's also going to auto ADS for you. You don't have to worry about also having to press that. I've also got faster rapid fire. Same thing. All three of these can work very well. You're coming down here, you see this guy, it's already aiming in. And once it's aiming in for you, your pixel bot or your tensor is going to kick in. Okay. For tensor, I tend to do that at the end. Once you're done the pixel and the creative control and everything, just go here, go to weights manager. It'll pull up. For Call of Duty right now, just install these. Full precision only if you have really good NVIDIA graphics card. I would only do it if you have like a 3080 or a 4070 or better, 4070 Super or better. Other than that, there's really not that big of a difference between half precision or full precision. There's really no need for you to do this unless your computer can absolutely handle it at 60 FPS. So what you're going to do is you're going to check off tensor as well. You're going to make it, I tend to keep it outside these lines right here. It works for me. You could try it out. This one you could do custom. I also tend to keep the width low but the height fairly high so it doesn't pick up anything that's in like the capture the flag or anything like that. So once it, like if the enemy is over here, tensor is going to pick up, it's going to aim at it, and once the pixel bot picks up, it's going to adjust as well. Just make sure you get your aim offset right. Usually right now I'm using about 41 for pixel, and for weight I'm just leaving it as a 35. Again, just a tiny quick walkthrough tutorial explaining all the controls, what they do. Again, I'll kind of go through it again. So RS max radius, how fast it's going to snap. If it's too slow, increase it. If it's too high, if it snapped past the person, decrease it. Manual override makes sense. This is how much you control. Aim speed, usually about half, sometimes -1, sometimes +2, sometimes half exactly is perfect. Right stick dead zone is going to match your minimum right stick input, and capture latency. When you're holding aim and you're already aiming at these, you can adjust it. So remember when we had them changed to purple, just adjust this up, down, little by little, just see where it shakes less. Once it shakes less, you're good to go, and then you can go in game. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, but I'll go ahead and post this soon.